It's obviously, the issue here is the fact that it's not just police cars coming in and out, it's people's personal cars. And I'm asking you why you're doing that, and you can't provide a reason.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I waited for them to come out the gate and then got them in a video, then what does it matter?
Well, I'm simply asking why you're recording police vehicles or people's personal vehicles, and you haven't given me
I've told you, for stock footage.
Stock footage for what? Stock footage is just, it's the vaguest reason I've ever heard, so I just want to know.
Stock footage is something that people do. They give it away, they sell it, they put it on their websites, they use it for things like that, so there you go.
So potentially people's personal information that could be used against police officers, so that sounds a bit dubious to me. It sounds a bit moody, doesn't it?
Right, if I was sitting over there, or if I was sitting on that bench over there,
yeah,
and a police car came out, or somebody's personal car came out, for example, and I caught them in the picture that I was taking.
You set up a tripod, mate.
Yeah.
On the corner of the police station.
Well, why are you making assumptions, saying it's not very good?
No, we're fine in a minute. We're just talking. What's not very good, is it?
Why not?
Hang on a second.
I'm perfectly legal to take photos from a public place of anything that I can see with my eyes.
Yeah, but why? I don't understand why you're doing it. You've got no legit.
For stock footage.
Stock footage is not an excuse, mate.
From the moment the officer approaches, it's clear he is treating photography itself as a potential issue, despite PAP standing in a public place and engaging in entirely lawful activity. When PAP reminds him that taking photographs from public land is legal, it highlights a basic principle officers are expected to understand. Yet the response suggests personal discomfort is being treated as justification. No legislation is cited, and no clear grounds are set out, only an attempt to challenge behaviour that does not breach any law. This sets the tone early, showing an officer willing to question lawful activity based on perception rather than legal authority, which reflects poorly on both judgment and understanding of the limits of police powers.
Might not be an excuse to you, but that's...
Right, okay.
That's
but
it.
You're also, in fact, losing time in details, aren't you?
Why do I need to? Have I done something wrong?
Well, I want to clarify exactly what's going on, mate, and you're not exactly being very forthright.
So now I've just missed that, so now you've just lost me some footage there, so go on, carry on.
But what do you want the footage for?
I've told you what I want the footage for, stock footage.
Just say, yeah, stock footage. What? Are you making a film? Are you selling that information to organised crime? What are you doing, mate?
Oh, yeah, I'm selling it to organised, yeah.
I don't know, people do.
I'm a Yakuza, aren't I, yeah.
Well, no, but, local gangs you could be selling to. I don't know, and you're saying...
Do I sound like I'm local?
You're not really explaining yourself.
I don't think I need to explain myself any more than that.
Basically,
I'm in a public place, doing a perfectly legal activity.
If, for instance, if you were just taking footage of police cars coming and going, I might say that, that seems perfectly legal.
Okay.
But the fact is you've set it up here where people's personal cars are, and let's just say hypothetically, you might not be doing this, but this is a scenario that could exist in the world. Okay. You could be setting up a tripod here, filming people in their personal cars. Okay. Getting registers and selling that information to criminals.
Okay.
For another word, couldn't you? It's feasible.
Okay, I could be sitting in a car with a dash cam waiting for people to come out and getting all of that as well.
Yeah, so, and I'd be asking me the same questions that I'm asking you now. Obviously, I want to know who's potentially doing that, because they're my colleagues, or I could potentially be me.
Okay, well, me, I'm doing it.
Okay, and you are?
I'm me.
The officer then presses for PAP's details despite having no clear lawful basis to compel them, turning what should remain voluntary into something he is attempting to enforce without justification. When PAP declines, the officer shifts to hypothetical scenarios to support his position. But speculation does not create authority. Imagined possibilities do not turn lawful behavior into reasonable suspicion. Instead of grounding his reasoning in concrete facts, he relies on what-if arguments, which only highlights the lack of firm legal footing. It becomes even more telling when considering that the same behavior would likely go unchallenged elsewhere. The only factor changing the response is the presence of police vehicles outside their own station, which appears to drive the escalation rather than any actual breach of law.
Have you heard of ACPO, the Association of
Chief Police Officers? Yes, I have heard of them, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's just a bit of paper, isn't it, mate? I don't know if that's legit.
Well, it's got all the details on and the right email addresses, so you can check it out, can't you?
That could do. Or I could just speak to the sergeant. Don't mind looking silly.
Go on then. Okay. Go and do that and leave me alone.
Now you're filming me, aren't you, mate? And I'm filming
you. I was filming you anyway, for my own protection and yours.
But mate, that's filming as well. So
but
you're filming me, filming you. It's like...
I can video and photo anything I want from a public place.
You probably can, mate. I still think
it's probably can. I can.
I think it's malicious. I don't care the reasons behind it. I think it's malicious. I can say that.
It's an opinion, isn't it?
Yeah. It's my personal. It's not law. Mate, it's not. My personal opinion is this is malicious. So I'm checking that you're not breaking the law anyway.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna leave you to it, mate.
Radioing a sergeant simply to determine whether he can demand details suggests the officer is not operating from a clear understanding of his own authority. If the grounds were solid, there would be no need to pause the interaction midway to seek guidance. The PAP then references guidance from the Association of Chief Police Officers, which has long supported lawful photography in public spaces, including around police buildings. However, the officer refuses to engage with it. The officer then admits he only believes the behavior is malicious, openly acknowledging that this assessment is not based on any specific law. At that point, the reasoning shifts from objective grounds to personal perception, which carries no legal weight. Once that becomes clear, the interaction winds down with no further action taken, ending with the officer walking away.
What are you doing? For the 8th time, I'm getting stock footage.
Okay,
of police cars.
Right, brilliant.
Do you mind?
Yeah, I do. Because you're getting personal plates of police officers and police vehicles, and we think that's suspicious, to be honest.
You think it's suspicious taking photograph or video?
Can I ask who you are, please, sir?
You can ask.
Who are you? Are you refusing your details?
I'm politely declining to give my details.
Okay, if you're not doing anything suspicious, sir,
why are you doing that? Why are you trying to hide your face? That's being suspicious.
It's not being suspicious.
Of course it is. Trying to hide your identity.
I'm being polite with you, sir.
Okay, what's your number, please, sir?
5580.
Okay, and what's your number, please?
659.
Okay.
So it just allows us to check.
Do you mind?
Check out you.
You can't do that.
I haven't done anything.
You're obstructing me, and you just touched my camera.
I haven't touched it at all.
You just knocked into my camera.
No, you moved it forward into me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
When the next officer steps in and immediately shines a flashlight directly into the lens, it shifts the interaction from conversation into active interference. Using equipment to obstruct someone who is lawfully recording is not about safety or clarification. It appears to be an attempt to disrupt something they do not want documented. Labeling the activity as suspicious from the outset reinforces that approach. But suspicion must be based on behavior that objectively suggests wrongdoing. The situation escalates further when the officer immediately demands personal details without setting out any clear legal basis for that requirement.
Do you have reason to believe
Trying to
that I'm
resolve a
doing
lawful
hostile
activity by
this
forcing
day and age, yes, sir.
identification
So you
suggests a
have reason
search
to
for
believe
leverage
right now,
rather
you
than
have
addressing
reasonable
any
suspicion.
genuine
Under
issue.
the Terrorism Act, I don't need to believe.
Okay. Hold on a minute. Reasonable suspicion.
I don't need reasonable suspicion
terrorists.
under the terrorism activities.
Which one?
Section 44 of the Terrorism Act.
44, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, you know what you're talking about.
Yes, I do.
I hope you do. Section 44, well, you can go away then, because Section 44 doesn't exist anymore.
It does, actually.
It doesn't, actually.
It does.
No, it doesn't. 44 does not exist anymore. What's the number, please,
Can I
sir?
just speak to you for 2 seconds?
You know, have a look.
6621. Do you mind?
Do you mind? We don't want to be filmed by you.
This is for my safety and for yours.
Our cameras are on.
Yeah.
You're the one
You're
coming to
not-
the police station, so why are you...
What do you mean I'm
not
not
safe?
coming to a police station? I'm standing on... Where am I?
Right, okay.
What's this?
What
Public or private?
The moment the officer leans on terrorism powers while openly admitting he doesn't actually know whether PAP is doing anything hostile, it exposes how thin the reasoning is. Suspicion cannot be built on we don't know, yet that is effectively what's being relied on. It becomes more concerning when he references Section 44, a power that was abolished years ago after being ruled unlawful due to widespread misuse and lack of safeguards. It once allowed stop and search without suspicion and was found by the European Court of Human Rights to breach fundamental rights, which is why it was repealed. For an officer to still cite a repealed power, particularly one removed for abuse, raises serious questions. It suggests a lack of understanding of the legal framework he is attempting to rely on overall. It highlights a shift from grounded legal thresholds to vague uncertainty being treated as justification.
No matter whether it's private or not, you stood with a camera pointing into a police car park.
And?
What do you mean?
And?
You've come here, so
Yeah.
why would you not feel safe?
Why? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah,
5, 6,
Because
7,
it's
8.
not normal behaviour.
They're not dealing with you. We're
Hey, I
dealing
don't
with
care.
you.
Look at
There's
you.
three
Look
of
at you
us.
surrounding all around here. Look at you.
Yeah.
don't
All
know
around
who
here. Not doing anything illegal here.
Okay.
I'm not here with any hostile
facilitate that for you,
intent.
is what we're saying.
Well, no, you can't, because you're not allowed to use the blue lights unless you're going to an emergency. So I'm waiting for somebody to come out.
Right. Because of your presence here now,
Right.
right, and there's police officers who are on duty and off duty, when they leave this station, they're not happy with your presence, okay?
Okay.
Okay? Which is antisocial behaviour, kind of. Why, if you know what I
Well,
mean?
no, it's not.
No, I'm telling you, so you listen to me
Hold
for
on,
a change,
right,
okay?
don't start
No,
getting like
I
that
will
to
tell
me.
you, and I'll speak in my tone, okay? Right? Officers are now having to go out of another way because they're worried about the reasons for why you are here.
Right.
Okay, because you are sitting here filming into a police car park, okay? Right? So under section 50 of the police free format, I now would like your details. If you refuse, you will be arrested, okay?
Being surrounded by multiple officers makes it entirely reasonable for PAP to record for his own safety, and there is nothing unlawful about documenting a police encounter in a public place. Instead of acknowledging that, the officer again flashes a torch directly into the camera, which appears less like a safety measure and more like an attempt to interfere with the recording. The suggestion that blue lights could be activated also raises concerns, as those are intended for operational necessity, not as a pressure tactic against someone who is not committing an offence. Officers expressing that they are unhappy with his presence and describing it as antisocial further reveals the mindset driving the interaction. The reaction appears based on frustration rather than any identifiable misconduct. When Section 50 is eventually mentioned, it still does not clearly fit the situation, as recording from a public place does not in itself amount to antisocial behaviour.
We can check if you are any threat to the police or not, if you've got any previous for anything.
Put it in your position. You're a police officer, okay?
Inspector, I presume you've had that letter from ACPO with regards to public photography and videography.
Yes,
Yeah, but you're
we
filming
cannot
it.
stop
Okay.
public filming. I've done it at fatal RTCs. We can't stop people from filming. Okay, what we're trying to do is prevent people causing annoyance. Have they sought permission?
I don't need permission to film or photograph from a public property. I can
Into a
take...
private place, yes you do.
I'm sorry, Inspector, that's incorrect.
So, you don't want to give you a criminal record for something as easy as just providing your name and address. Is there anything that we can say or do now
That's
to
right,
make
'cause
you
if
provide
I-
your name and address? We've explained the legislation to you. We've explained that we've had to open an emergency exit for people to leave because they're
distressed
in
by your
fear of you
presence.
getting
Right.
the registration.
The first policeman that spoke to me, Sergeant,
Will you
Sergeant,
provide
the
your
first...
name and address?
Doesn't matter about the first police
Okay,
officer.
this isn't
Sergeant, the first... I haven't... Hang about, hang about.
The police reformer. You don't have to say anything. But
I
in my
haven't...
defence, do not
I
mention my
have
questions.
not...
Something
Hold
which
on, you
you're
can't turn
allowed
that off.
Anything you do say-
We do. That's being seized under section 19 apace as evidence of your behaviour.
I'm not tensing.
Stop tensing up, sir.
I'm not tensing.
Stop tensing your
I
arm.
am not
Stop
tensing.
tensing your arm.
I'm not tensing.
Okay, we'll get a van.
Just-
Now going to be searched because you're on.
The outcome shown makes the entire encounter even more troubling. Pap was held for several hours, released without charge, and later received confirmation of no further action, effectively indicating there was no offence to begin with. Despite that, he was handcuffed, searched, and had his freedom restricted simply for recording in a public place. Being investigated under Section 50 in relation to filming only highlights how far the situation drifted from a clear legal basis, especially given that the allegation ultimately collapsed. The inspector's involvement further strengthens the criticism. Rather than correcting the course of the interaction, he reinforced it. Even while acknowledging they could not stop PAP from filming, the focus shifted to annoyance, suggesting the issue was driven more by frustration than any actual unlawful conduct. The suggestion that permission was required to record a private location from a public area also reflects a misunderstanding at a senior level. The arrest, seizure of the camera under Section 19 PACE, and subsequent search compound the concerns. Section 19 allows seizure of items believed to be evidence of an offence, without an underlying offence, that justification becomes difficult to sustain. Turning off the camera removes transparency at the exact moment accountability matters most. Ultimately, the fact that the case ended with no charge speaks for itself.